right, good morning everybody. I will give it a couple more minutes to see if anybody joins us for our live class. We'll start off just with some introductions. My name is Sabrina. I am one of the recreation therapists with the Forever in Motion team, and I'll be leading your live class today. A couple things that you'll need for today's class, of course, is a sturdy chair. So our class will be mostly seated today. I will give you options for standing if you prefer to do the exercises standing, but I'll be focusing more so on the seated options today. You'll need a resistance band, something to keep you hydrated, so water. Today I have Gatorade. What else do we need? And good shoes, I guess. And I see a couple people have joined on. Thank you for joining. If you're just joining us, my name is Sabrina. We'll get started shortly. So again, just resistance band, good sturdy chair. I'll remind you guys to make sure that your volume is turned up on the device that you're using. I'll try and speak loudly as possible, but just so we can do our part on both ends, I'll try and speak loud. If you can just make sure your volume is up. And you can let us know in the comments if there's any issues with you being able to hear properly. So we will do our warm-up, we will do our strength portion of the class, 2 balance exercises, and we'll finish off for our class with a stretch. So let's get started. If we can, I'll move back to my chair. So like I said, today's class is mostly going to be seated, so you do need something good and sturdy here. And for all of our exercises, I want us to make sure that we are sitting forward in our chair so we're not relaxed and leaning on the back, because that's not doing us any favors now, is it? So let's sit far forward. We're going to engage our tummy. We'll apparently I'm having a morning. Tuck our chin. Tuck our chin back so we have a good neutral spine, and we're going to have good posture throughout all of our exercises. So just to start today, we're going to sit up nice and tall, feet flat on the ground, on a comfortable position. Let's bring our arms up to the side and take a nice deep breath in. And breathe out. Good. Breathe in. And out. Do one more. And out. Okay, this time when we breathe in, we're going to bring our arms up kind of like a wave in front. Breathe in. And out. Good. Breathing in and out. So we're just going to get everything nice and warmed up for our strength portion. One more. And out. Very good. All right. So I know I'm looking outside. I see a ton of snow. I wish that I was on the beach. So we're going to do a little bit of swimming this morning. So we're going to do a front stroke here. Nice, big, slow rotations of our shoulder. We can imagine we're on the beach, right? Not too far away, only 6 months. All right, very good. Going at your own pace. Good. Now we'll swing backwards. Getting those shoulders all warmed up. And remember to breathe. Good. All right. Shake out those arms. Let's start moving our legs here. So for those of you who are just joining, I see some more coming on. We're doing mostly seated, so grab a seat if you can. If you prefer, of course, you can do these standing. Most of them will look the same. So we're starting with our march here. So if you do want to stand, feel free. Just make sure our feet are coming right up off the ground. And if we are sitting in our chair, we're sitting with good posture, up nice and tall and at the front of our chair so we're not leaning. Very good. All right, we're going to take this into a wide march. So let's bring our feet wide. Still picking those feet right up off the ground. Again, this would look the same if we're standing. Good, and let's bring our feet back in narrow. And pumping our arms if we can. So we want to do this as a full body warm-up. Good, let's go wide. And narrow. All right, and we're gonna do this a little bit quicker, so we're gonna go wide and narrow, wide and narrow. Very good. Again, this looks the same if we're standing. Going wide and narrow. All right, very good. Let's do 4 more. Last 3, last 2, last 1, and back to our regular march. All right, we're gonna add a little bit of impact to our march here, and we're gonna do some ant stomping. So we're gonna pretend there's some ants on the ground, and we're gonna do 3 stomps per leg, and they're kind of gonna move in a diagonal direction. So I'll start with my right. We're gonna do a stomp, 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 bring it back in, and then switch to our left, okay? Maybe the ants are scattering a little bit so they can move in a different direction, but we wanna make sure we're adding that impact. So you should be able to hear, hopefully, my stomps. Impact we know is good for our bones and our bone density, so we want to make sure we include that in our exercise. Again, this looks the same if we're standing. Good. Okay, let's go 1 more on each side. Good, I'll sit back down here and just return to our march. All right. Everyone taking a nice deep breath in. Remember to work at your own pace. So slow it down or speed it up if you need to. All right, so we're gonna go into our side step here. So we're just going to tap our foot to the side. So tapping to the side and alternating legs. Good. So warming up the outside of our hips here. Very good. Again, this looks the same if we're standing. And pay attention as we go through the exercises, if you are doing them in the chair, that you haven't lost your posture or are now leaning on the back of your chair. So sometimes as we go through and we start to get a bit more tired, we lose that good posture. So try and be aware of that and focused on that throughout the class as well. Just one more thing to think about and challenge our brain. Good. All right, let's do 2 more on each side. Last one. And back to our march. I hope you guys are starting to get warm. I certainly am. All right, we're keeping our feet moving here. We have 2 more exercises in our warm-up. We're gonna do our heel dig. So all that is we're gonna take our heel, tap it out in front, and alternate with the other leg. Okay, so once we've got our legs going, we'll introduce our arms. This looks the same if we're standing. All right, hopefully now you've got that heel tap in front going, and we're gonna add nice big X arms. So when our heel is out in front, We're gonna cross our arms to look like an X. But nice big movements. So everything in our warm-up is nice and big to get all the major muscles and joints warmed up. Good. All right, let's do 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. Good, and back to our march. All right, our last warm up here, we are going to do heel taps. So what that is here is we are just going to take our opposite hand to opposite heel, and we will tap. So I'll take my right heel and my left hand and tap them together, and they will alternate. If this is difficult for you to actually connect your hand to the heel, that's okay. Just go as far as you are comfortable. And again, this is really good for our outer hips. And again, this would look the same, but if you are doing it standing, make sure you have good balance because you'll be going on one foot. Again, don't have to connect if that's a little bit too difficult. Very good. All right, last 4, 3, 2, and 1. And that's it. We've made it through the warm-up. So it's really important to keep our feet moving. We can slow it down a little bit, lower our heart rate, catch our breath, but I want us to keep our feet moving somehow. Doesn't matter how we're moving them, keep them moving, nice and slow, and grab yourself a drink. I need it. All right, you guys are doing great so far. So hopefully all of you guys caught at the beginning that we will need our resistance band for our strength portion of the class. I'll give you guys a couple minutes here to get yourself your drink situated with your band. Again, we're going to be in our chair here. Okay. So we're going to start off, as we always do, with a back exercise. We're going to try one that's a little bit different. I haven't taught it before in one of our live classes, so bear with me as we try and work through my cues for this. So we are all going to grab a seat for this one because we are using the resistance band. It'll be a little bit easier for us to do. So I'm going to have everybody put their band underneath both feet on the ground, and our feet are probably pretty close together. So we have a good amount of band to work with. And we're going to be holding down pretty far where we have a good resistance to start. As we go through this exercise, if you're finding it too difficult to maneuver, you can ease up a little bit, give yourself some more band. And I want us holding our band with our thumbs facing up towards the ceiling. Okay, so we all have our hands on our resistance band, feet are flat on the ground on top of the band, and we're sitting up nice and tall. So what we're going to do here is we are going to hinge forward at the hips, about 30 to 40 degree angle. And before you guys start, I want you to look at me because right now I'm looking at the camera, so I don't have very good posture of my spine. So what we're going to do is once we hinge forward, I want you to be gazing on the ground in front of you, about a foot or two in front. So we're having that nice neutral spine. So I don't want our chin up and kinked, so we have a curve in our neck. We want to have that nice and straight. So we've got our lean forward, we're looking down on the ground. And all we are going to do is we are going to bring our bands up towards our shoulder. As we come up, we're squeezing those shoulder blades together and then bringing them back down to start. So we are doing a back fly. So here we go, up and down. And it's really important to make sure that we are leaning forward. If we're sitting upright, this turns into a different exercise. So we do need to be leaning forward. And we're exhaling on the way up, inhaling on the way down. And let's do 2 more. All right. I'm sure all of you guys felt that. I definitely did. You can roll out those shoulders. So shoulders, upper back, we probably felt that. We're gonna take our band out from underneath our feet. We'll do a chest. So I'm gonna have everybody wrap their band behind their back and underneath their underarms. And we're gonna grab closer to our body. We want to have, again, good resistance on our band. Depending on how hard you want to work or how strong your band is, you can either have it behind your back or you could even loop it around your chair. That's going to actually give you more resistance and it's going to be a little bit more difficult for you to do. So if you want to work a little bit harder, that's an option. Okay. So we are going to do our chest press. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring our elbows up so they're kind of around shoulder height. And we want our wrists in line with our elbows. So we're making that nice 90-degree angle. And then we'll take a nice deep breath in to start. As we exhale, let's bring our hands together. And then inhale back to that starting position. All right, let's do 2 more. That should bring us to about 12. And relax. All right, I'm going to move my chair just so you guys can see me a little bit better. So we will do our last back exercise. So 2 back exercises for every 1 chest that we do. So we're going to be doing a double arm row. So sitting again at the front of our chair, and our feet are going to be slightly out in front, heels on the ground, toes pointing down just a little. We'll take our band, wrap it around our feet, and then we're holding on to the band, both hands, starting at about our knee. Okay, sitting up nice and tall for this one. We're going to pull that band back to our hips, bringing our elbows back, squeezing our shoulder blades, and then slowly returning back down towards our knee. So just a nice gentle row. And just pay attention to where your hands are, if they're gliding along your thighs, or are they coming up? That's more of a bicep. So we want to make sure that we are keeping our arms down and elbows are coming back. Squeezing those shoulder blades to make sure we're doing the exercise correctly. All right, last one, that should be about 12. We can slowly release. And I will turn my chair back around. Remembering to work at your own pace. If you need to stop before we do about 12 reps or grab a drink, feel free to do so. Okay, so I'm facing back towards you, feet are flat on the ground. I'm going to put my bands underneath my feet, and we are going to do our lateral raise for our shoulders. So we're going to do one arm at a time. I'm going to start with my right. Again, holding the band with my thumb facing up, kind of like we're gripping onto a hammer. Okay, and we're just going to raise our arm up towards our shoulder and slowly back down. So one arm at a time. And we are exhaling as it comes up, inhaling on the way down. We'll do about 2 more, and then we will switch to our other side. So we make sure we're even. All right, so we can drop the right if that's the one that you started. We're gonna grab with the left now, same hold with the thumb facing up, and then raising up towards our shoulder and back down. If you are doing this standing, you might need a little bit more less resistance, a little bit more band. Otherwise, you might be finding it difficult to get it up towards that shoulder. So you can just play with it a little bit and see what you are most comfortable with. All right. That could be 10, that could be 12. I might have lost count while I was talking to you guys. Hopefully around the right number. Okay, so we will go to our bicep exercise now. So keeping the band looped underneath our feet. And if your band is not super long, I have a fairly long band, so I have enough to work with. If you have a shorter band, feel free to just put the band underneath one foot. It'll give you a little bit more room to move. But I will keep both the band under both my feet. So we're gonna do a hammer curl for our bicep exercise. So again, holding the band like a hammer, thumb is facing up towards the ceiling. And I want us to have good resistance from the start. So our arms are pretty strong. If we're starting here and we're moving, we're not doing very much. So make sure that you're grabbing down a little bit further to have good resistance from the start. Our elbows are in towards our body, kind of like we're holding a newspaper underneath. We don't want to drop that newspaper, so make sure our elbows don't come out. We're going to bring our hands up towards our shoulders and then slowly back down. What I want us to do is we're going to count a little bit differently. We're going to do a 2 count on the way up. So 1, 2, And then we're gonna work our muscles a little bit more on the way down. So we're gonna bring it down slowly for a count of 4. So roughly in your head, up for 2, down for 4. Good. All right, let's do 2 more if we can. Last one. Awesome, shake out those arms. Okay, so now we've done the bicep, we need to do the opposite muscle there, which would be the tricep. So we will do our tricep extension. So I'll start with the band in my right hand. We're gonna cross over our body, and if we want, we can flip part of that band behind us if we only wanna work with one in front. Our right hand at our left shoulder is not gonna move, so it's going to stay there. Our left hand is going to grab the band, and it's gonna be the one working first. So we're extending down and up. Extending all the way down and back up. Very good. Last one. Good. So now we will hold the band in our left hand, bring it across to our right shoulder. You can flip part of that band behind. Again, our left hand is now the one that is not going to move. It's going to hold that band still. Right hand is grabbing the band underneath, and we are going to extend that right hand down and slowly back up. So this is a nice and controlled motion, so not that I can see you, but I don't want to see you just releasing all willy-nilly. We need to do it nice and controlled on the way down and on the way back up. Awesome. All right. And shake out those shoulders. Remember to grab a drink anytime if you need it. Okay. We are going to put our band away. So just make sure it's not in and around your feet so we don't trip over anything. And again, I'm going to turn my chair to the side so you can see me. So we are going to do our abdominal work now. We are going to do a reverse crunch. So sitting pretty far forward on our chair. Just make sure you're not going to slide off the chair. Our feet are flat on the ground. We have good stability there. And we are going to be leaning back towards the back of our chair. As we do that, we're going to engage our core. And there are 3 different levels that we can do this at to make it easier, medium, and a little bit harder. So level 1 would be our hands on our lap. Level 2, crossed at our shoulders here. Level 3, our hands are by our ears. So that would make it the most difficult. As we're leaning back, I want us to be looking at the horizon. So don't be looking up at the ceiling and don't be looking at the floor, because that will kink our neck in funny ways. So we want to be looking kind of ahead at the horizon to keep that nice neutral spine. All right, so for the sake of this, I'll just do level 2. And what I want us to do, I'm going to do a little bit of brain work here. When you cross your arms normally for some reason, my right is underneath my left. That's what's most comfortable. We're going to do a little bit of brain work. I just want you to change that. It might feel a little bit weird, but it's just going to work our brain just a little bit, even if it doesn't feel like it, just a little bit different. All right, so we are leaning back. We're engaging our core. I don't want us to touch the chair or lean all the way back, so we're hovering and then coming back up to that starting position. So nice, slow, and controlled. So I'm at about 10. Let's go to 12. All right, good job, everybody. Okay, so we have just 2 more combo exercises to do, then we'll do our balance, and then we'll stretch it out, and we'll be finished with our class. So what we're going to do here is we are going to do a combination using our legs and our obliques. So I'm going to allow us to sit all the way back to the back of our chair here. And what we're going to do is we are going to scoot our bum forward using our oblique muscles to get to the front of the chair. So my chair is pretty shallow, so I might only be able to do about 2 scoots before I get to the front of my chair. But this is a really good exercise for you to practice and kind of helps you get in the motion. Have you ever sat in a couch that's been really comfortable and it kind of just sucks you in and you have a hard time actually getting up out of that couch? Well, this whole exercise is going to be a really good one for you to use to help you get out of that sucked in sofa. So we're starting at the back. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to pop up and lift up our hip. And then we're going to use our abs to kind of lift that hip and place it forward in the chair. And then we will switch to the other one. So we are kind of walking our bum to the front of the chair. That makes sense? We'll try that. We'll go backwards and then forward one more time before we go to the next part of the exercise. So you should be at the front of your chair. We will now do it opposite. We will scoot to the back. So same thing. We're going to lift up our bum and scoot to the back of the chair. Hopefully you're at the back now. We'll go one more time to the front, scooting that bum forward. It might look silly. The good thing is you can all see me. I can't see you, so don't worry. But it's a good exercise to practice. I promise you it will help. Practice it when you sit in your couch next time. So we are at the front of our chair now. The next step of that is going to be a sit to stand. So we are going to go from the seated position to our standing position, and we are going to work our legs. So we have our feet flat on the ground. We might want to bring our heels in a little bit closer towards the chair. Okay, it's going to help us with our standing. We can have our hands on our lap for support if you need a little bit more because your legs maybe are not as strong to get you all the way up. You can hold onto the chair, or if you have armrests, you can use those as well. But we are going to lean forward to the point where we feel like we can't really lean anymore without toppling over. And then we're just going to lift our bum up off the chair. You'll feel your leg muscles engage, and then we will sit back down. Whew. Okay, that's a lot. So we've got our bum scoot, we've got our lean forward, we've got our lift our bum up off the chair, engage those muscles, and then sit back down. So we'll do that in a combination, but I want us to listen because I might ask us once we're hovering above our chair, we might go all the way to a full standing position, then we'll sit back down, but we'll hover before we sit all the way down. So we're gonna really work our legs and work our abs. So we are at the front of our chair, we will scoot back and we will scoot forward. So let's do our bum scoot all the way back. Good. So we're at the back of the chair, we will scoot forward. Good. Feet are flat on the ground. We are leaning forward. Lift that bum and hold. Remember to breathe. And stand all the way up. Very good. You guys are doing great. Okay, make sure your chair hasn't moved, so you are sitting back in the chair when you go to squat down. So we are going to lower ourselves back down. You can feel, make sure the chair is still there, but don't plop. We're holding right above our chair. We're engaging all of these muscles, and then we can sit down slow and controlled. All right. Whew, I'm out of breath from all that talking. Okay, let's do that again. We're just going to do the standing part here. So we are going to lean. We're going to lift our bum up, hover, and sit all the way back down. Good. Leaning. Bring your bum up. Okay, this time we'll stand. You gotta listen to my cues. All right, slowly going back. Don't plop in the chair. We're hovering just above. Engage those muscles. And stand back up. I bet I caught some of you and you've plopped in the chair instead of standing back up. That's okay. Take a second, stand back up so we're all together. All right, we are going to squat back down. Again, engaging those muscles. Make sure your chair is there behind you. And slowly relax. And we can scoot to the back. Oh, that's a lot of work, isn't it? Okay, we are at the back of our chair. We have one more exercise to do, and we don't do our exercises at the back of the chair. So this will be the last scoot forward. We'll do our last exercise, and then we'll go into our balance. So let's scoot that bum forward. Very good. Okay. Our last one that we are going to do is going to be toe taps and heel raises. So we are going to work the muscles in our lower legs. We are sitting up nice and tall, tummy engaged, chin is tucked, shoulders are back and down, so we have good posture. And we are going to lift our toes up off the ground and then alternate bringing our heels. So we're just going to alternate toes coming up and then heels coming up. Again, you can do this standing if you want, but you should have maybe something to hold on to, especially when we're rocking back onto our heels. Kind of turns into a bit of a balance exercise. We need to make sure that we have something sturdy to help us with that. All right, here we go. You guys have been doing so great so far. I thank you guys for joining me, and I hope you've enjoyed the class so far. We are on our last strength exercise. We will do 2 balance, and then we will stretch it out and be finished for the day. All right, let's do 2 more of each. And last one. And we can shake it out if we need to. Wonderful job, everybody. Grab yourself a drink before we go into our balance. Okay, so we are going to do 1 balance in our seat, and then the other one I'm going to get us to stand up if we're comfortable to do that for our last balance exercise. So what we'll do is we're going to do a side reach. So sitting in our chair, arms are going to come up kind of like we're looking like an airplane, and I want us to reach to the side, but keeping that arm up. So I don't want to see any tilted airplanes, because if we tilt, that's where we tend to go, is down, and we want to work on our balance. So keeping ourselves upright is important. So we are reaching to the right as far as we can. Once we feel like we can't reach anymore, maybe we can lift up our left leg just a little, and it'll help even out our balance, and we can reach a little bit further. And we'll switch to the other side. We want to do these slow and controlled. The slower we go for balance, the harder it is, the more it makes us work. And the more we work at our balance, the better we get. If your arms get tired, shake them out. We're gonna go again, reaching to the right, keeping that arm up. Once you can't reach anymore, you can lift up that left leg. Reach, reach, reach. Good. To the left. Good. Roll out those arms. We're going to do it one more time on each side. You guys are doing awesome. Arms are up. Let's reach to the right. Lift up that left leg. So we're lifting up the opposite leg to the way that we're reaching. Good. Reaching to the left. Lifting up that right leg. And back to center. Wonderful. All right. Our last balance exercise. We are almost there. You guys are doing awesome. We need to stand up, so why don't we do that the way that we just learned? Feet flat on the ground. Bring your heels back a little bit. Leaning forward. We can lift our bum up and all the way up. Very good. All right, so I'm going to come behind the chair here. For the sake of showing you, I'm going to have the chair to the side for now. So we are going to do a knee flexion, but we're going to do this slow and controlled. So what the knee flexion is our heel is going to come up towards our bum. So I'll stand this way. Heel is coming up towards our bum, and our knee is pointing down. So it's important we're not bringing the knee up forward for this one. We want it down. It's going to work our hamstring muscle, which tends to be a pretty weak muscle. And then we're going to challenge our balance at the same time. So what we'll do is as that heel comes up, we're standing on one foot, and we have ideally our chair or something nearby that's sturdy to help with our balance. But I want us to challenge ourselves. So can we go one hand? Can we go fingertips? Maybe we can go no hands. And I want us to work on our balance. So see if we can hold on one foot. So ideally holding for about 5 to 10 seconds. If you need to, of course, you can put that foot down. We don't want anyone falling, so making sure that you are steady. That's why you should have the object there. We'll switch now. We will bring our left heel up to our bum. Again, knee pointing down. And then let's challenge our balance. It also helps a lot if you can engage your core. That really helps with stability. So if we're finding that we're rocking a lot, check in with your core and see if you are engaging those muscles, because I guarantee as soon as you engage those, you're going to feel yourself become a bit more stable. Woo. Good. All right, let's do other leg again. So we're back to the right leg, heel is coming up. We're balancing. You probably feel those muscles in the foot on the ground moving. They're doing their job. They're helping keep you upright. And the more we practice, the better we get. Ooh, my balance could use some work too. Good. All right, left leg again. And I'll ask you guys, do you guys notice if you're more stable on one side? For some reason, my left leg, much stronger. No, my right leg is much stronger than my left leg. So when my right leg is down, I'm a lot less wobbly. So that means I gotta work on my left leg. Good. All right, wiggle out those legs. We are going to do it one more time, and then we will stretch it out. So right heel to bum. Challenge our balance. Whew. Good. Last one here, left heel to bum, knees pointing down, make sure they haven't started coming up a little bit, and balance. Awesome. All right, we can grab a seat. You guys have done wonderful today. You should all give yourselves a round of applause because you've made it. Now we get to do the fun part of stretching. Make sure you don't miss this. It's really important to finish off our exercise. So we're gonna do a stretch head to toe here. Let's start with our right ear to our right shoulder. If we wanna deepen that stretch a little bit, we can reach that left arm out. You'll get a nice deep stretch in your neck. Good. Slowly back up. Let's go left ear to left shoulder. And same thing, if you need to stretch a little bit deeper, you can reach that right arm over. Good. All right. Right arm crossing over. Left hand can bring that arm in. We're holding either above or below the joint. We don't want to put pressure right on the joint. And just make sure our shoulders are down and relaxed, and you'll get a good stretch in the back of your shoulder. And now's a good time. Catch your breath. Take nice deep breaths during our stretches. All right, let's switch. Left arm crossing over. Right hand bringing that arm in. Good. So we're going to bring one arm up and over, pat ourselves on the back. Try and get that elbow up towards the ceiling. Get a good stretch in our tricep. If that's uncomfortable on your shoulder, you can always just come across to the other side. Might be a little bit easier for some. Good. Other arm up and over, pat ourselves on the back. We deserve it after that class. Good. Bring our arms back. We're going to just open up our chest. We'll take a nice deep breath in and out. Breathing in and out. Very good. So we are going to turn. We'll face to the left. Our left bum and leg is going to stay on the chair. Our right leg is going to come back. We're going to try and tuck that tailbone underneath. And we'll sit up nice and tall, and we should get a really good stretch in the front of our hip and down into our quad. And this is one that tends to be really tight on everybody, so this is a good stretch to do every day. Okay, let's switch to the other side. So this time left leg is coming back. Again, tucking our tailbone underneath, sitting up nice and tall till we feel that stretch in the front of our hip and leg. You can hold your chair and your leg for support if you need to. Right, back to center here. Last two stretches, so we're going to take our right leg, we're going to put it out in front, heel on the ground, toe up to the sky, and you might want to scoot your bum forward a little bit just to help if anything's pinching underneath. Okay, we're just going to hinge forward at the hip so our hands can be on our lap. We're sitting up nice and tall, and we are going to hinge forward till we feel the stretch in the back of our leg. And just to deepen that stretch, we can try and bring our toes up towards our body a little bit more. That'll deepen the stretch down into our calf. And remember to breathe. It's easy to forget and hold our breath while we're doing the stretches. We want to get oxygen back in, flowing through our body. Good. hinging till we feel that stretch. And again, to deepen that stretch a little bit, you can bring the toe up towards the body just a little bit more. Good. All right, sitting back up nice and tall. Take a nice deep breath in and out. Breathing in and out. All right, that is our class, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you have enjoyed it today. We had a good number of you guys join live, so I'm very happy to see that. Our next class is on Thursday, so we will see you then at 10:30. Everybody, you have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.